Synthesia, which is one of my favorite video producing AI models. It essentially makes talking head videos for you, so it's pretty useful. I've used it for a lot of different projects, but they've just launched an LLM-powered assistant that essentially can turn any text file or link into an AI video. So essentially imagine you go and grab a link to a page on your website, a blog or something else like that, and they're able to turn that straight into a video. So this is good for people for accessibility reasons. If people have accessibility issues, they're able to then, people that can't read would be able to watch a video about any web page, which I think is kind of cool. But in addition, this is great for content, in my opinion, right? So let's say you have a blog post that explains something. You could turn that into a video, post it on YouTube, put the video embedded in there. And I mean, a lot of times I just like watching a YouTube video explaining a topic better than I like reading an article. So that's just me sometimes. And I think a lot of people might fall into that camp. So this is really, really interesting. I'll be breaking down everything going on with this specifically. So have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app, or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. Synthesia, this is a London-based startup, but of course they've just launched this big new AI video assistant. And the goal, I think, here is for enterprises to essentially create AI videos. That's what they're branding this for. So this AI video assistant is available for paying customers. Obviously, it's not free because it costs a lot of money to generate these AI videos. And the assistant can convert text from website links into videos, like I mentioned, right? So I think this is really useful for both internal and also some external enterprise applications. You can imagine like you have training data, or you have like training courses that you need, or documentation that you need your employees to take. I remember, employee onboarding at different companies. I remember my first job, employee onboarding was just like a giant folder that they gave you, and you had to open it and read all of these PDFs and all of these documents. It would have been awesome if this was just like a video I could have watched. So I think internal stuff is great. External stuff, explaining how to use your product or explaining different aspects of your business to customers, is also really, really useful. So right now, there's a lot of concerns over AI-generated videos and deepfakes. And people are saying that there's the ability to mislead people on the internet about stuff. And, there's the whole debacle of Taylor Swift recently having a bunch of deepfakes made of her. And that went straight to the White House. And there's a whole bunch of people talking about regulation. So this is a big issue. And like with the Taylor Swift issue, that was just images. People just made AI-generated images of her. And if you actually turn these into videos, it's a bigger issue. So this is an issue that people are talking about. So Synthesia was founded back in 2017, and this is actually a company I've been using for over a year. And essentially, they offer a platform for creating custom AI voices and avatars. What I liked about it is that it's like studio quality videos. I was using this before ChatGPT had ever launched. And I was just making, explainer videos based off of blog posts that I'd created. So that was kind of my use case back in the day, but there's a ton of use cases for this. Previously, obviously, creating videos requires a lot. I mean, look at me in my studio right now recording this video. Like, just the backdrop alone for this studio, I don't want to tell you how much work I put into, creating that backdrop, the lighting that you see, the camera that I use, the microphone that I'm using, the whole setup that I have for like teleprompters and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's a big ordeal. It's a ton of work. And so being able to skip all of this, the thousands of dollars I've spent on this, building this out right here, and being able to just put in some text and have it generate, a talking head video is quite amazing. So their new AI video assistant is obviously simplifying the whole process. It just requires that you give it the text, and then you can also choose a template, right? So you can choose which person is going to be speaking. You can choose which voice there's going to be. You can pick like some templates if you want to throw your logo or some other things on it. It's pretty cool. So Sundar Salai, who is a product manager at Synthesia, kind of explains that the assistant uses generative AI to synthesize materials with user objectives and characteristics, which I think is really interesting. The assistant also generates a script and scene layouts. They can do this in minutes, which can be edited and then regenerated to make them better. But according to Synthesia, video messages have a 95% retention rate. So this is compared to like 10% for text, right? So obviously there's some huge value here. And Synthesia right now is trying to convert, dense text-based content into studio quality videos for better content delivery. This makes a lot of sense. And I see a lot of value in this, to be honest. But essentially their AI video assistant has been tested. They've been testing this for a bunch of weeks. They've seen a lot of good customer traction here. The tool has a 4,500 word limit for source material conversations. And this is actually something that I had an issue with when I was first using it. You get 4,500 words, and sometimes if you have like a ton of text, this isn't enough. Like there's 10,000 word articles on some of the blogs that I used to run, and it just wasn't long enough to do that. Actually, I do think that this 4,500 words is an increased limit from back when I was doing it. It was probably more like 2,000 words. So this is an improvement. They have grown this, and but it is important to know that that's kind of the limit. So Synthesia, impressive company. They raised $90 million in June last year, and they have over 55,000 businesses, including I think half of the Fortune 500 companies are using them. So customer Zoom essentially creates videos 90 times faster and saves you 15 to 20 hours a month per employee. Which essentially is achieving a cost savings of $1,500 a month per employee. So that is really impressive. Alexandru Vosia, who's the head of corporate affairs and policy at Synthesia, mentions plans to essentially improve the platform and the avatar technology for more realistic videos. Right now, there is a lot of competition in this space. So Synthesia is competing with DeepBrain AI, Rephrase, and HeyGen in the video AI space. And HeyGen is a really interesting one where essentially you can upload a video of yourself and then it can have you talking in any language and saying anything. It clones you. And this is a really interesting tool. We've seen this go viral for a number of different reasons. I think, recently on Twitter, there was a video of Milei, the president of Argentina, giving a speech at the Davos summit. It went viral because they essentially were able to take his voice. He's obviously from Portugal, doesn't speak English, but they were able to take his voice, clone it, and make him speak in English, still with his same voice and his same accent. And it sounds really cool to hear, a speech coming from an actual person in their own voice, right? You don't have to dub it over with someone else's voice. So I think HeyGen is doing a great job there, and I think Synthesia faces a lot of competition from them. I'll be curious to see how they respond. But all in all, Synthesia is making some really cool new plays, and this new product I think is going to essentially, if nothing else, is going to generate a ton of money from the corporate side, but I think that they have the possibility to make some big disruptions that I'm excited to follow in the AI-generated video space, which I think is going to be bigger and bigger in the coming year.